Okay. Blizzard. Ugh. What?
Yeah, that's the exact face I made whenever I heard about the news.
Oh.
I was like, jeez. It's that bad. It's that bad.
So so for context, I didn't really know much about what was going on until you mentioned it earlier
Yeah,
today.
it was like a huge thing. Like it's been going on for like a month and a half, and you know what's even crazier? They're not allowing Blizzard and or Activision at the Game Awards.
Really. I'm not,
Yes.
I can't say that I'm surprised at that.
No, me either. I wouldn't
Yeah.
let them there either.
Yeah.
They're running their company like garbage.
Yeah. So, okay, so the first thing I did was I watched the video. What conference was that when the
It was like E3 or something like that.
was it E3? So the
It
woman
was like a while. I think it was either E3 or BlizzCon, but like I think she brought up a good point, right?
she did.
And he could have answered that way better. He could have
He
been like,
could
you know
have.
what? Maybe you have a point, but he was just like, he was just straight up misogynistic. Like I'm gonna keep it real.
So
Like I don't use that word very often, but I was just like, dude,
no, yeah, for sure. So what was that dude's name? I wish I
he was
would
the
have.
director of Activision Blizzard. Hold up, I'll look up his name
All
because
right.
I didn't know his name until recently. Because I'm not really a big Activision or Blizzard fan. Because like Activision and Blizzard. Like the thing about it, Bobby Kotick.
Bobby Kotick. Yeah, I just pulled that up
Because
as
the thing
well.
about it is, both Activision and Blizzard have not had very good public images. Did you hear about the Blitz Chung thing?
No.
Oh,
So
you've heard about this. You've heard about this. I'll tell you because I know you've heard
okay.
about this. He was the Hearthstone player who spoke out against China, and they banned him from
Yes.
playing Hearthstone and took his
Yes.
prize pool after he won.
I do remember that. I do
Yes.
remember
So
that.
like after that happened, I was like, wait, I think that's. Let me make sure that's the right company.
The thing I don't understand. So when I watched the video of the young lady asking the question, so for those who don't know, the question
Yeah, it
she
was Blizzard.
the
Yeah, it was
question
Blizzard.
the question the young lady asked was, she said she appreciated the fact that they had female characters in was it World of Warcraft, but she was like, when are they gonna have female characters that don't look like they walked out of a Victoria's Secret catalog? And all of the men on a panel, and I'm like you, I'm normally not one to really go crazy about the whole chauvinist thing. All the men on a panel kind of laughed and chucked it off. Now,
Yes.
if it would have been different if they would have said, well, that's definitely a good critique. We didn't really think about that way, but that's something that we're going to go back and now look at that you brought this up. The fact that they answered the way they answered, so I'm trying to give context for my thought process. So when I first was watching the videos about what was going on at Blizzard and sexual harassment, my first thought, I don't necessarily run with the thought believe all women or all men. I want the facts. I don't want to just jump conclusions. So when I heard a lot of this stuff and I heard some of the language being used, I was like, okay, this could be valid, but I don't really know. I don't have any hard evidence. Now, when I heard that question asked and I saw how all of those men on that panel responded, I thought, ooh,
Those are
yeah,
high ranking members at Blizzard Activision. That's the thing. So like just think about like all the stories you heard on like all the stuff that they said happened. And like that just makes you think I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely some truth to a lot of the stuff
that's
that's going on. If
and
that's how they react.
that
Like
was my
the
exact
head
thought.
dude responding like that, I was like, it's raps. It is raps. And the lawyer who was defending them when it was going on. Okay, so hold on. More context for this, right? You want to know how all this came out?
How did it all come out? Was it the suicide?
The state of California is investigating them. Like,
I
like
did
the
know that.
district attorney is investigating them for all this is going on. Like it's
Yeah,
gotten to a
that's
point
crazy.
that's so bad where the actual state of California is like, you know what? Yeah, y'all are a problem. Y'all like this is not good. This is not okay. But the suicide is one of the main things that did like drive people into like talking about it. There was I forget the name of the journalist who broke the story, but it was like yeah, everybody's grilling them pretty hard with good reason. With good reason. Like
Yeah, I agree.
and the type of stuff they were talking about, how they were literally passing over like female coworkers who were doing the exact same work, if not better work than their male counterparts.
So
And then they would just talk about that like openly. I'm just like, dude, like there's no way.
that was one of the reasons why I didn't really know what to think about it initially, because I
Because
was like, all right,
it sounds ridiculous, right?
it's not that it sounds ridiculous. It's not that. It doesn't sound ridiculous. It just sounds like something I can't substantiate. It sounds like a claim that could be made by anyone without me being able to substantiate. And so therefore it's like being hung in a court of public opinion. I really don't like involving myself in that.
Yeah,
Like, I want some facts.
I think that's true. I mean, that's a fair assessment. You don't just want to like go straight off of like, but the fact that like,
right?
Because I'm to my own horn, but I've known about like Activision Blizzard for a while because I'm a gamer, you know.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm into, and I've known about the type of people that work there, the type of like management they have in their like place. So I'm like, it's like not surprised but disappointed. You know what I mean? Because you're not really in the game sphere like that because you don't really play video games like that anymore. So you're not really like tuned into like the type of culture that company's like about. So it's like I wasn't really surprised. Like everybody who like knew anything or like about like Activision Blizzard was like, yeah, this makes sense. It sounds like something that would go on there.
Yeah, I'm more of a casual gamer at this point. And
yeah, you're not
I guess
a boy like me.
I guess I would go a little bit more than casual gamer because I'm gaming a little bit more now than I did in the past, kind of. But I don't want. The thing is, you know, as you know, you get older, you don't want to consume yourself with just playing games all day long. So
especially if you're like old.
Oh, which is you're taking shots. I see you.
I'm not saying you're old per se. I'm just saying if you happen to be at that old big age, you know.
Right. But I mean, but the point being is, I'm getting back into gaming slowly with the Switch. Kind of got me back into it a little bit. But this thing with Blizzard, I'd heard about it at a peripheral, but because
kind of like saw like articles about it, you were like, oh, okay.
Well, I listened to a couple video game podcasts like Gamertag Radio, and on Gamertag Radio,
Gamertag Radio was talking about it.
It was a while ago. I want to say, and I think
that's how you know.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it in passing. Don't quote me on that because I'm pretty sure that's the podcast where I heard it mentioned in passing. So in my mind, I was like, okay, this is a big deal, but I don't have enough information to know what's really going on. But again, people's mannerisms and what people do are like telltale signs of what's really going on.
Yes.
So again, when I saw that woman's
his reaction to that question, really,
I was like, oh my goodness.
He really just told on himself with that one. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I was like,
this is bad. This
man is saying the quiet part out loud. He is like out and about. Like he's not even like, it's not even a maybe, or maybe he just, no, that man. They hate women there, bro. That's
what it sounds like. I'm not gonna say that emphatically.
I am. I don't like Activision Blizzard in the first place.
Well,
garbage.
The reason I'm not gonna say that emphatically is because you start getting into defamation of character and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I do not believe that everyone at Activision Blizzard is a horrible person.
Yeah, you don't know that, but they definitely got some suspect things going on.
There was you hear about the stuff about how the male coworkers would come to like work drunk and start like groping the like female coworkers.
Yeah, and this is the part where I was like, man, I don't know, like, can I really believe everything that's being said? And because it sounds so outlandish, right? Like it sounds.
It really does. Like it sounds like somebody made this up. Like I was like reading the articles, watching the videos. I was like, bro, there's no way
it can't be.
In the year of our Lord 2021, people are doing this. Like if you said this was like the 1930s, they'd be like, yeah, it's believable. But like. What?
Right now, it
like,
seems
you gotta be brain dead. You gotta be missing several parts of your cerebral cortex to be like to even give people a pass on it. Like I'm gonna keep it real. If I worked at a place like that, I would quit. I would quit. Yeah. I wouldn't be like I would. That'd be it. I would quit. I would make a huge stink about it. I would tell everyone. Like
so, I can't say I don't know that I would quit. Per se,
I would definitely quit because here's the thing about it, right? I have sisters. I have younger sisters.
No,
right? Yeah, I have a mother. You know, I have people in my life that I care about that happen to be female. And I if I saw something like this, I would be disgusted. I would be angered.
Too. Here's my caveat. I would be, or try to be, the voice of not even reason. I would be the voice of.
Problem with that, they would fire those people, or they would demote them to points where they couldn't do anything.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that far. You know a lot more about this situation.
It is terrible. It is like I'm telling you right now. unless they quit or got fired, it was not a good work environment for them.
Yeah, so then in that case, I would have quit. Like if
Like even going
change,
to HR, there were several women who did go to HR. Nothing happened. They were essentially told like, don't say anything about it, or you'll get fired.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like the greed and evil in some of these companies is ridiculous. Like is very disappointing. I'm not even gonna hold you.
So here's my question. How did this so how long was this going on? Let's just put it that way.
I don't think anybody really knows. It's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's always been a thing. Just nobody really knew about it until, like I said, got to a certain point. You know what I mean? Because like if you realistically think about it, right? You're in a big company. That company has a culture of doing stuff like this. You're new to the company. You try to change it. You're pretty much either fired or demoted. You know, so there's no telling how long it's been going on. It could be whole lifetime of the company. Could be like it started 1 year and then it just started perpetuating. I have no clue. I mean, there might be an article or two like detailing when it started, but I don't know. I didn't really get that's as far into it as other people.
Yeah, so there's an article written here by The Verge. This is.
I don't know about The Verge.
Well, the thing is, I try to be unbiased in the news sources I go to, so I don't want to only go to news sources that I think might be right.
My one thing is there was a PC video The Verge made, and have you heard about that?
I have.
It was terrible. I watched it, and they had to take it down. The person who made like the video, he's still getting people under his tweets like to this day, cooking him about that thing, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like, man,
there's one person. I try not to.
That's fair.
Attack whole organizations just for one person. Yeah, I'm trying my best to be.
I mean, if they purport on what's happening, that is what it is.
Right. So this article was written. Let's see. Bobby Kotick is still the CEO of Activision Blizzard for now. This is written by Emma Roth, Richard Lawler, and Andrew Webster. November 21st, 2021. Let me. I'm gonna share this and we're gonna check this article out and see what this is about. Okay, so I don't know if viewers can really see the article. It's kind of small off to the side, but
actually, he got. I think they made him step down. Bobby Kotick.
Did they? Okay, yeah, because this was like I said, this article was November 21st. So
yeah, that's when everything started coming out. Oh, okay, is he still? Oh, okay.
All right, so let me read it. It says, Bobby Kotick is still CEO of Activision Blizzard, despite a Wall Street Journal report that detailed. Oh, can we stop for a minute and just acknowledge that? How has Wall Street Journal been coming up with all of these articles just out in all kind of companies? Because didn't they have something else?
I don't know.
There was another article they had outing some other company for doing something crazy. Like I thought,
hey, bro, Wall Street Journal, like the CIA, they got people everywhere.
Yeah, they doing their thing. It says all right.
So apparently, Bobby Kotick's still the CEO. I thought they're saying
crazy.
He just stepped down. Oh wait, actually, you know what? No, there is some more news about it. So I was watching Some Ordinary Gamers, Mudahar, and he talked about how the board was supporting Bobby Kotick staying as a CEO. And like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's wraps. Like nobody's buying any more Activision games. Nobody's buying any more Blizzard games. It is over.
All right,
it is over. I never played Activision Blizzard games in the first place, but that's wraps.
Let's see what this article says. It says, all right, Kotick has reportedly told executives that he may consider stepping down if the company can't fix its toxic work environment. So here's the thing about that I'm not really confused, but kind of mind blown. Like listening to your comments to the young lady that asked you the question, like, bro, you're kind of part of the right. Like you're kind of part of the environment, and so everybody tells jokes. I'm not offended by jokes. Sometimes jokes are crude. I'm not offended by that. But there's a time and a place for certain things. And you could tell how uncomfortable she was after his answer as well.
Yeah, because like they went on with the
joke. And they went on with the joke for like 5 minutes. And I was like, yo.
Like her face, well, you could visually see, like it was just like, this is not it, bro.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, he says, toxic work environment with speed. According to the Wall Street Journal, sources close to the situation told the Wall Street Journal that Kotick met with Activision Publishing and Blizzard Entertainment leaders last week. His status as CEO was addressed as executives said some employees won't be satisfied until Kotick hands in his resignation. During the meeting, Kotick allegedly expressed regret for his past behavior and his handling of the harassment that went on during his 30-year reign of the company. So are they saying that this was going on for 30 years? That's bad. I don't know that that's what they're saying. I don't want to assume. They're just saying this happened during his 30-year reign on a company. So how long? I mean, I don't know.
This man, Bobby Kotick, he's losing his job.
It says,
well, actually, apparently not.
But the thing is, so here's what I always caution. I don't want to get to the point where I am the thought police, right? Where I'm telling people, yeah, this guy did X, so we need to burn him. He's a witch.
I'm not saying that he did all this stuff, right? But there's literally like things where people said that they brought stuff up to him and he just swept it under the rug, and it's been going on for years. So even if he wasn't actively doing the stuff, he takes some form of responsibility. But I think something came out recently about him doing something.
That's bad. If that's the case, there's no.
Let me make sure. Oh, okay. So something came out about how he covered up sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yeah,
and he failed to tell corporate multiple times about it.
That's not good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And there was I'm not going to say the word, but there was an R word allegation that he also covered up that they were talking about. So yeah. Okay. Good. That's what happened. So it came out that he covered up a lot of stuff about SA and like R wording. And I was like, oh yeah. It's
not looking good for homie.
No, it's not. And look, you know me. Okay. I try to be hyperbolic, especially when it comes to stuff like this and accusing people. But like, no, he gotta go. He gotta go now. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to crucify people in a court of public opinion. I agree with you.
But
right?
but let me add this caveat. But looking at the circumstantial evidence, just as for sake of the company and employees, especially given, like I said, watching that video, for those of you who haven't seen it, go watch the video of him answering the question of this young lady asking him about how the female characters look in World of Warcraft. And it will, like, I was uncomfortable watching her squirm as they answered the question. And one of the dudes said, well, what catalog do you want her to come out of? And I was just like, bruh, yeah, there was a time for that joke, and this was not that time.
Like, if he made the joke and then like got serious after that, I was like, okay, so we could do this and that. Like, would have been fine. He made the joke and just moved on. I was like,
ran with it,
bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. That's. Look, there's no justifying.
No,
yeah. There's no justifying that. And I don't know if he was just maybe tone deaf. Some people are tone deaf, and so. I know we talked about this earlier today, but when I was looking at the dudes on that panel, they didn't give me the vibe of like geeks that never got, play from women, or, they all looked like accomplished, well-rounded dudes. But okay, so for context, we were talking about this earlier, and I said, the constant or the stereotype of geeks, which is true in a lot of times,
for the most
right?
part, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought maybe these are guys who really didn't get much play from women, and now they're making money. They're at Blizzard. They're in control. They got power, and they've gone crazy with power. Looking at, not saying that would justify it. It wouldn't justify it, but it makes it even worse. Looking at those dudes on that panel, I'm like, yeah, don't look like any of you dudes have problem picking up.
So a lot of times, I'm sorry, you can finish what you're saying.
No, I was just saying it doesn't look like they were in that category of geeks that didn't get play and now they got power and so they're going crazy. Right. I didn't get that impression.
Yeah, it's like a twisted version of Revenge of the Nerds. That's what I was thinking in my head. And it's, look, I think that most people who are nerds and geeks understand what it feels like to be powerless, right? So for people in that space to use their power to make someone else feel the same, it makes
disgusting. You worse. It makes you worse.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, there's a joke. There's like this writing on the back of like I think Blizzard headquarters, let me see. I think it's like every word. What is it called? Oh man. Oh man, I gotta find it because it's like every voice matters. Except people like took pictures of that and they wrote like on the sides like except if you're a woman. I'm like, oh man,
So when did
irony at its finest. Let's see.
when did
Every voice matters. Yeah.
when did Activision and Blizzard merge? Because
Uh,
they weren't always together from what I remember.
I think they were. I think they. Oof, 10 plus years.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Blizzard is a new
realize
company
that.
comparative to Activision. Yeah. So Activision is like the big daddy corporation. That's why That's why it's Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, this is not looking good.
No, it's not. It's not looking good
Freeze
at
boys.
all, and it's only getting worse because more information is starting to come out, and it is not.
Okay, so to conclude this, what do you think would be a legitimate? Because this is what I don't like. I don't like Band-Aid fixes when things like this happen in companies, right? So I don't want, they do some kind of they throw you a bone, they give you a token. Oh, we got a woman CEO now. That it's fixed,
And it's like, and they still have the same issue.
it's like I don't want that. What would be, in your opinion, the legitimate fix for what has gone on at this company allegedly?
I think that there needs to be like a group of people who recognize the people who did all this stuff and who covered it up, and just blacklist them from the industry.
See, I don't know if I'm in favor of
No, because okay, think about it like this, right? In every group of people, there's always like 50 idiots. Okay,
this is true.
that's how it works, right?
This is true.
And every group of good people, there's always like 12 bad people. Would you keep the bad people in your group, or would you want them to be ousted?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is blacklisting. So you're saying there's no opportunity for redemption for these people.
I don't know. I don't know them personally.
So that's
right?
what I'm saying. So to make that blanket statement like let's just blacklist it now. I do agree.
I think that
I do
I
agree.
think they should destroy the company. I think like they should disband Blizzard as a because like it is. I think that when you build a company and you build it on that culture, no matter how many times you try to teach people to do better, that culture is still instilled in them. They should either take Blizzard down and just reform, like reformat it, right? Or just completely disband it.
There's no easy fix.
There's not really an easy fix with this many people excusing the same types of behavior.
Yeah,
so
for this long.
Exactly. So I don't know. Because like I have things I'm thinking about, but it's like the only one I think would be the most beneficial for everyone is to disband the company and give severance to everybody who works there.
So that would effectively destroy World of Warcraft.
Look, Blizzard did that to themselves.
Yeah, but
how they ran their company.
All right, so let's think about the countless millions of people who
That's
invested
fair,
time.
But so I have a friend, Brendan, right?
Okay.
He's been playing World of Warcraft for a long time, like 10 plus years, right?
Okay.
He stopped playing recently because they've been releasing like really bad like DLC and stuff like that. And I think hold up, let me see, because I think something crazy happened at Blizzard where they laid off a bunch of people, like right when the pandemic started. Let me see. It was like a huge deal.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that if, the pandemic was going on, people were getting laid off.
No, okay, so
you're saying it was unrelated. Is that what you're saying?
They were laying off people. Let me see. Yeah, so they were making a bunch of money, right? They were making like bunches of money this year. Instead of giving people raises, they laid people off.
So, I mean, that's it's corporate America. That's it's not, and not just I don't want to put it that. It's not just.
It's not
America.
even that. Because I think what happened was they had them all in like a conference call, and they did it in the conference call while they were all there. They're like, yeah, you're gone.
That's not surprising.
I'm just saying it's not how you treat your people. And I think that look, if that's how they treat their workers, right? Like the people who work there at Blizzard, Activision. I feel like they're destroying their own thing because like around that same time, that's when my friend started complaining about the DLCs at World of Warcraft and like the dip in what is it not value but in quality. You know what I mean? So I think that it's at a point where they're just focusing on the money instead of like the game.
Right. So there's got to be a balance. If you're in business and you're not in business to make money, you're a
It's
moron.
that makes sense. I understand that.
But
tell me how it makes sense to fire a bunch of people after you just made a crap ton of money.
no, yeah, I was going to add a caveat, but it can't be money at all costs and money at
That's how Blizzard has
cost.
been running their company,
right?
And Activision for years.
But let's keep it real. And like I said, I want to retract my statement about just corporate America, because it's not a corporate America. It's corporations globally. This is how corporations are run globally, and they have for years, and nobody's said anything about it. So I'm not saying.
Why do you think?
I'm not saying it's a good. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that culture does need to change, but how do we change that?
How do we change that?
Yeah.
So I think that if we support companies, right, that actually care about the people who work there,
smaller companies.
Exactly, because that's why the indie game space has been so crazy the last 3.5 years. Because people are starting to realize these big gaming companies or these big game development companies aren't making games that are fun. They're making games to make money, right? Like a game like Among Us. You know how many people working on that team?
No.
3.
Oh wow.
3. Yes.
Yeah,
it is.
that's
3
crazy.
dude. I think they added 2 more people in the last year and a half, but it's 3 people working on that.
Wow.
From the start. And they became big. They are literally a cultural impact within the last 2 years.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
anybody you ask knows about Among Us.
It, but yeah, but
even you don't even play it, you know about Among Us, right?
Yeah, it's big.
And it's a matter of if you just. I think people are starting to do it anyways, starting to support companies that actually care about their workers and care about the stuff they put out, because greed has ruined almost every industry that has ever been created.
Oh, look.
If you look at it historically, right? Even especially games. People are like, man, why are games not as fun as they used to be? Because there's too much money in the industry. And look, money's a good thing. Money's a great thing. But when you have people who are purely in the industry for money, it's going to get diluted.
Right? Music is the same way. It's
yeah, that's how
entertainment. It's happening in entertainment.
Exactly. Yes.
When you look at movies,
think that
movies right now, they just don't have that cultural impact the way they did. And the movies that do, you look at shows like Stranger Things. Why is Stranger Things? Why is it such a culturally iconic thing? Exactly.
It's genuine.
Now I'm not saying,
and you can tell they love what they're working on.
It's not that they didn't want to make money, right? Because there's nothing wrong with that. But when
there's nothing wrong with making money, but if you're only focused on making money, like Activision, you know what Activision makes, Dad?
No, besides
Call of Duty.
Oh yeah. That's right.
That's them.
Know that. Yeah,
they literally created microtransactions. That was them.
You're right. You are right.
That was them.
Yeah, that was a whole money.
They literally destroyed the entire gaming industry as we know it today.
My pet peeve with Call of Duty. I don't know how I forgot that they were when Call of Duty became Halo.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, I'm off the reservation. Halo has its place. Call of Duty has its place. I didn't like when they started, and you could tell.
Nobody did.
Nobody could tell when the soldiers started to look exactly like Master Chief with the helmets and all. It's like, come on, bruh. Like, come on.
And the thing about it, right? Nobody liked it. That was literally called the dark ages of Call of Duty. When there was all this advanced movement, nobody liked it. They were like, "Can we get boots on the ground, please?" And every year without fail, they would not listen to the people, and they would literally just have no boots on the ground. There's a YouTube trailer for Call of Duty. You probably can't see the dislikes now because YouTube took them off. People.
We'll have to talk about that too. Yeah, thing.
But they literally had the most dislikes on any YouTube video ever at some point. It was over 1 billion. It was a lot of people disliking that video because it was just bad. It was just
trash.
People were just not with it. They were like, man, what's all this advanced movement, this and that? And you know how they responded to that, Dad?
How'd they respond?
They released a remastered version of Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare along with that new game that nobody's going to play. Oh, my
goodness. They. So let's say right now they give you the keys to the castle. You are now the sole controller of Blizzard Activision. You have control. What do you do?
I get new people. I get all new people.
So you fire everybody.
Yes, I rebuild from the ground up.
Everybody gone. Now it makes more sense because I used to always wonder why companies change their name. Like, why do you change your name? I kind of understand it now. You get this mark and this scar. And so what you have to do is, okay, we're going to have to change our name and change branding because there's a certain psychological effect that comes from seeing Blizzard Activision when you know what's going on at that company.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, right? I don't know what it's like with people who've been in the industry for a while, but all my friends and like acquaintances that I know who are like aren't in the industry yet, who are just like starting out, I feel like a lot of them are more creative than some of the people who are actually in the industry
I can believe
and
it.
want it more. Like
I can
they
believe
like
it.
there are some very intelligent people I know who are great at a lot of things when it comes to game development and game design, and they can't get jobs because there's already people who are established in those positions who are just doing the bare minimum, punching their time card, whatever this and
Right.
that. And I would take all those people I know, put people like that in the company, like new people, like all new people, like people who are hungry for it. Not
Some
people who've been in the industry for like 30 plus years doing their thing. I mean, we'll probably have some veteran people so we know what we're doing, right?
right.
But I want it to be mostly people who are relatively new.
So I'm
What
gonna
I
tell
mean?
you
I
what
like
that does, though. I'm gonna tell you what
straight out
that
of
does.
college.
It presents the opportunity for something new to come along, for someone to create something other than what
Status
you.
quo.
Yeah, yeah. Like, because I always wonder when you get talented people, it's hard starting a company. So I don't want to make this. I don't want to make this like a flippant thing. But I
Yeah.
often wonder why a lot of these people don't pool their resources, get together, get their brains together, and let's start something new. Let's build our own thing. You know, I mean, everybody has to start from somewhere. Blizzard had to start from somewhere. Activision had to start from somewhere. Now, sometimes some of these companies have people who know people and they get major investors, and that does happen. But then you have the smaller studios that start out as small studios. Like we talked about this. I don't know if we mentioned this on other podcasts, how Halo first started. It started out as a small studio making a
Yeah.
game for Apple.
Yeah, and they got bought out by Microsoft.
There you go. And that
And
game
Microsoft fumbled
became
it for the next
that game
what,
became Halo.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can start out small. You look at Instagram, how it started out. What was it? 4 dudes?
Yeah, it was, and they sold that for like billions of dollars.
Yeah,
It's worth trillions now.
and it was an Instagram. I was on Instagram the first year that became available on the App Store,
Remember?
my iPhone 3G, and that company just blew up. And they started really small. They just some developers that wanted to create something they liked, and they did that. And of course, they wanted to make money, but that wasn't the entirety of their
So
motivation.
whenever like I start saying stuff like that, people think that I'm like, oh, so you should never make money for stuff you make. No,
No,
obviously, everyone
yeah,
has to make
yeah,
money, right?
absolutely, yeah.
But if you
I
solely
definitely
become
get it.
like, oh, how can I make the most profits out of what I'm doing?
That's your only
You're gonna
motivation.
be
Yeah,
pooping trash.
yeah,
You're pooping trash.
yeah. That's we how we have seen that happen. We see that happen. In my opinion, now this is my opinion. I know there's many out there that will disagree. I think the consoles, for the most part, they're not bad consoles, but they're just so. They think specs sell consoles. And I think Nintendo has proven that, yeah, you need to have a decent console, but you got to have some games. Like,
I feel like even Microsoft forgot. Like, what you remember? Because you were there, right? I've seen like I've seen the videos. I know what happened. But what is the one thing that made Xbox on top?
you,
Well, what is the thing that outsold a console that was literally the best selling console of all time?
so that's a multifaceted question. I would
But I'm
say
just give me the number
Halo,
one thing. Yes,
Halo, and
that's what it
online
was.
gaming.
Yeah,
Halo
literally.
multiplayer online.
Like people forget that the console war was never about what console has the best specs. I don't know when it
This
started
is
doing
true.
that.
This is
It was
true.
about what console was the most fun to play on.
This
That's
is
always
true.
what it was. Literally,
This is
'Cause
true.
if it was like a graphics measuring contest, right?
Nintendo wouldn't even be a
Why
player
is
right now.
Nintendo in the
Right,
race? That's
right.
what I'm saying.
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and not that they're a hard hitting player, but a player nonetheless. They're outselling the Xbox by bustlings.
Yeah, and which is crazy. You would think, for all intents and purposes, compared to the Xbox, the Nintendo Switch is an underpowered console. But
Yes.
but as I've always said, at what point do you have enough graphics? Right? Like at what
Now.
point? Yeah, it's like when I look at games on the Switch, when I played through Wolfenstein, I thought to myself, wow, yeah, of course. So it doesn't look like the Xbox and it doesn't look like the PlayStation, but it's still visually stunning. It's still visually stunning.
Yeah, people think good graphic equal good game. Like, have you heard about this? I think we talked about this. We literally had this exact conversation
We
last
did.
podcast. I think.
We did.
Let's move on
We
to a
did.
different topic.
Yeah. So, like I said, fixing. We'll end with this. If one shot kill, you have 2 minutes to fix Activision Blizzard. What do you do? Go.
One shot kill. New people, better ideas, different name.
All right.